What's up, everybody? This is Prepper Princess. Today we are going to talk about a story that I have about losing a friend due to frugality. So let's get started. We all know that if you have a friend that you have lost due to your frugal ways, then they weren't really a friend to begin with. My story is only one time that has happened to me where I lost a friend due to my frugality, and that was in my early 20s when I was just starting to get out of debt. And I got my two jobs. I was working 6 a.m. to midnight every day. And before that happened, I was just working a regular job, and this friend was pretty much using me for money. We would always go out. We would go to dinner, bowling, movies. I even took her dancing a few times, shopping, and I paid for all of this stuff. I was young and naive, and I was kind of desperate for a friend, and I was lonely. She had a husband and 4 kids, so I was under the impression that, like, her husband should be paying for that, and she worked a job as well, but it just was always me paying because she was always broke, even though she lived in like a 3,000 square foot house with 4 beds and 3 baths. Meanwhile, I'm living in a little tiny apartment that I'm sharing with a roommate who doesn't pay his rent. But the fact of the matter is that I did lose one friend when I went on my frugal journey, and thank God that friendship is over because it wasn't a real friendship to begin with. Funny side note, this happened in California back when I lived in Livermore, and I have moved 500 miles away to the Mojave Desert, and she lives in my neighborhood in Arizona, and she works up the street at Panda Express. It's really funny how the world likes to slap you in the face once in a while, isn't it? But on a different note, that is something that happened. As soon as I went into Panda Express and saw her, I just hightailed it out the door. I was wearing a mask. She didn't recognize me, but I recognized the voice. And then I looked at the name tag, and I was peace out. I was gone. So, that's a friendship that I am very glad that is over. When it comes to friendships now, we can talk about a couple of my best friends. My best friend, Shelly, amazing woman. I met her at a Z-Night retreat, which is like, it's sort of like like, you know how you send your kids to camp and they go to camp and there's like zip lines and hiking and rock climbing and go-karts and stuff like that. Well, they have those for adults too. And we did this thing called the Z-Night retreat that happens once a year in the LA mountains. And I went there, and I was probably one of the youngest, most fit people there. And all of the activities that I wanted to do, nobody was really in the shape to do them. And I don't really remember meeting Shelly. I just remember that I wanted to do something active, and she's a skinny little bee, whatever. I love her, so I'm allowed to say that. But she's in really great shape, and we both wanted to do something that required physical activity. I don't remember what it was, but she was like, "You want to go do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And then we were like joined at the hip ever since, and we've just been best friends ever since. That happened about 5-6 years ago. And this is the funniest thing. All of the things that we like to do are extremely frugal. They don't cost any money. One time, this is crazy. When I was living in California, she just flew in and she was like, "Hey, can you pick me up at the airport?" I was like, "Wait, what?" And so she flew in. Thank God it was my days off. But she flew in and surprised me and stayed for just like 2 days, maybe. Yeah, I think it was just like 2 days. So she came in one night, we had a full day, and then she left the next morning. So I had to pack that day full of fun. So we went indoor skydiving in Palo Alto. We went up to Lake Del Valle with my kayaks, and we jumped off of this crazy like 40-foot rock that I've been jumping off since I was like 10 years old. And that was just so much fun. And it was very cheap. I think the indoor skydiving was like $40. The kayaking was pretty much just parking. So I already had the kayaks, and we had just a really great time. And we didn't go out to eat. She ate at my house. I think I made like homemade tacos. In fact, I have a video when she was visiting where we were just making homemade, I think it was like shredded beef tacos, and it was like a super cheap dollar dinner. Had a blast. Didn't cost much money. And then we ended up meeting like in the middle. She lived in Salt Lake City, Utah, or right outside of there, and we met in Moab, Utah, and we went and did some crazy stuff. We rented a dune buggy, and we went on like a dune buggy tour out in Moab. We had a blast. It was just so much fun. And one thing about now and between now and then is that like the things that I want to do with my friends are frugal anyway, but even if they weren't, I would do them anyway because I don't cheapskate when it comes to hanging out with my friends, but I don't really like eating out at restaurants, so that's not really something that we partake in. So that's just the way that it is with my best friend now, my new best friend, and frugality isn't really a thing. I don't even know, if we know what each other makes or spends or anything like that. I don't think it's ever even came up in a discussion. I think that she was interested once in doing YouTube, and she asked me some questions about that and opted not to. But she's now, when we met, she was single. She's now married, and she's going through trying to have a baby, which is great. I want her to have a little herd of children. I want her to have as many as she wants because she's always wanted a family, which is awesome. And her wife is like super nice, who I've never met yet. She now lives in Indiana, which I should make a trip up there because I have family there. I have family and she's my family. So that's one thing. So frugality now in my life is not nearly as important as it was back then, but I would never have a friendship again in which I have to spend all of my money in order to be friends. That's not a true friendship. My other best friend is probably my cousin Steve. And Steve and I we just hang out. We'll go to his place or my place, and we just hang out in the backyard and BS and play with the dogs. Maybe we'll play frisbee or croquet in the backyard and have a nice bonfire or a barbecue. Whatever. It's just a really, really good time. Like super good time, super cheap, doesn't cost anything. I don't think that Steve and I have really done any activities other than we were driving somewhere someday. I don't remember when this was, and we saw a Sizzler. I have not seen a Sizzler since I was 10 years old back in California. And we stopped at Sizzler and we were like, wow, this is really awful. but it was something I guess we both had to get out of our system because we hadn't seen a Sizzler in forever. And it's a really, really great time to be spending with my friends. And Steve is technically my cousin through like a marriage of his grandpa married my grandma, but we're not blood related, but we still call each other cousins and we're best friends. And he now lives in Tennessee and he's trying to get me to move out there. And I'm just like, Steve, stop it. Just maybe I'll come visit and see how it goes. But you're not going to convince me to move to Tennessee just because you do, because he moves every 2 years and he gets sick of his jobs every 2 years. And he has been everything from a college professor to an elephant trainer. He has done every job on the face of the planet. And he says his next job is he wants to be an ice cream scooper at Baskin-Robbins. That's just how he rolls. And he's a contractor, an electrician, a carpenter, all this other stuff. So he's definitely somebody who I can learn from. And he's just got a great personality. I love them both. And again, frugality does not come into any sort of context in any of our discussions. We don't talk about money. There's not really anything to it. And the time that we spend together is always spent talking, just like, just what friends should do. We just love each other and we respect each other and we have great things to talk about. And we do this every single time we get together. So if you have a friendship at this point, if you have a friendship where you cannot afford to be going out and doing things like that, You can either try to quote unquote retrain your friend, meaning, let's just stay in and I'll make some coffee and we'll hang out on the back patio. Maybe we'll have a barbecue. But if you're going out to dinner, going shopping, going to movies, bowling, all these things that super add up, to your monthly expenditure by hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And if they're not willing to do different things with you, then it might be a friendship that you might want to start to reconsider. I hope that this video has been helpful. And remember, if you believe that you can or you believe that you can't, you are always right. Prepper Princess out. Oh, before I forget, don't forget to like this video to help out my algorithms on YouTube, and check out the links in the description for my book, Living on Almost Nothing, as well as Mint Mobile for only $15 per month. Prepper Princess out.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at you. Look at you. You're just begging for some attention. Yeah, my sweet boy. Oh, you're such a good boy. You're so cute. You're so cute. Yes. Spoiled boy. Oh, could gobble you up. You're so cute. Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you. You're such a good boy. Oh, so tired. Oh, yes. Yes, we had a long you-know-what today. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Mister's tired. Mister's tired. My sweet boy. Always wants to hold paws. My sweet boy. Mommy loves you. Go sleep. Yeah, you go sleep.